and really just because it's a voice, really be,
could be anyone. Could be you.
It could not be me. Well, to say that, but it's not.
I'm just gonna mute this.
I don't know,
you guys. So right now, I am just checking over what I was supposed to be doing. Justice Con coverage all day today. I got swamped with some other things. Had to shoot another video, but this is Justice Con. So right now, Justice Con is going on today for Justice League. Tomorrow is going to be for Army of the Dead. They had something also introductory yesterday. So I just want to say that before we kind of do a deep dive or listen to their deep dive and hear what he's got to say. I'll say this. They mentioned Jon Stewart already. They mentioned that Zack had already filmed. He actually did admit he filmed the footage for Jon Stewart. I'm just going to let you listen.
Not that would ever have to do that, but.
It's good to know that you have.
It's just fun. It's just, look, maybe we'll make like a fan film.
Yeah.
Like that's always fun.
That could work.
Like, what are the rules of a fan film? Like I just don't get.
Like I really want to go back, but I don't want to take away from this. But basically, he alluded that they did film the sequence for Jon Stewart, and it was a CGI suit, so that's already a really good thing. And then there's a contest going on for an IMAX showing for Justice Gray that he's going to be having later on in July the 19th.
Of us lowly so-and-so who've never directed.
What about that one fan film with Batman and Darth Vader?
I know there's a gray area. Oh, some people in the chat say Batista would be better as Bane.
Always.
I think after seeing how...
That's a little too on the nose. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that is a bit on the nose. I feel like he's done that character before.
He really has. Let's like.
So I have a question that I saved from Twitter that I saw that people that I didn't notice this myself, so I can't take credit. But the person's username is his name is Milo. His username is Darkseid with a 3 and a Z.
Darkseid.
And he says the Superman's death is at minute mark 2:38:57. His resurrection is at minute mark 2:38:57, which is the same numbers as the Bible passage about Jesus rising Lazarus from the dead. Is that on purpose?
What's up, dude?
Come on, guys. I literally just said that the other day. I was like, wonder if it's a Bible passage.
That's funny.
I mean, I thought it was definitely on purpose because like it just didn't seem like a coincidence. And we're talking about you.
He really?
Then you know what?
Then you're better than
what a crazy.
If it's a coincidence, okay, that's fair. I'm going to say this. There's a chance it was on purpose. There's a chance it's a coincidence. If it's a coincidence,
it's a crazy coincidence, bro.
Then it's such a crazy coincidence that it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
I was just the movie's been out for a month now, and I'm surprised that only one person got that.
It's good work. Dodie and I were talking about it because it was brought up to Dodie
Jeffrey Lane
when she and David and Carlos
I don't know if he just got in,
little
but
blog. Their little
confirmed he did shoot the sequence
some sort of like
with the actor
like a podcast
for
and
Jon
they talked
Stewart.
about that exactly.
He actually shot it,
and I think if you go back and listen to Dodie's answer
and everything,
it's quite,
and they filmed it doing with the CGI suit.
Interesting.
But confirmed that
Warner
Brothers didn't let
offer up another rabbit
progress
hole.
it, I
guess. So we have one recorded video fun question for you. It's a bit on the like directing side, a bit technical, so I feel like this is a good time to kind of put it in. So let's hear.
Hi, Zach. This is Hassan Muhammad from the Geek House Show in the Middle East. Big fan here since the day of Watchmen, which is still my favorite comic book movie of all time to this day. I would like to thank you on behalf of all the fans here in the Middle East for all the work that you do and you continue doing. And, just want to let you know that we're going to support you and keep supporting you until the end of time. I actually have two questions. The first one is about a new technology that is right now being used in filmmaking, which is the LED panels or the LED walls. This technology has been used in The Mandalorian, and I think Matt Reeves also used it in the Batman movie. So, as one of the best visual storytellers in Hollywood, if not the best, man, are you interested in exploring this technology in your future movies? And do you think that it can bring something new to the tables that was not there before? And my second question is a straightforward question. What is your favorite Batsuit of all time? So these are my questions. Thank you very much. And restore the SnyderVerse.
He definitely edited that, but
is that the hand gesture for restore the SnyderVerse? I didn't know there was a
signing off.
But I just also thought that might be some sort of like cryptic. I liked that was funny. Like when
hey, I got no comments on that.
Talk about like I think Harry actually was talking about it the other day, and he said that he is an orthodox. He believes in the orthodox SnyderVerse, not the like that. There's like I was like that's cool. It's cool to call it
orthodox SnyderVerse.
All right, so LED walls. Let's just get. Yes, I've done a whole bunch of tests recently.
What?
With the LED walls.
For what?
And we played around, and I shot a bunch of stuff. They did a big demo for me, so I could see how it works, and it's very in my wheelhouse, if you will. It's where I was like, guys, I can do this in 10 seconds. Like they showed it to me. I'm like, okay, give me the camera. Let's go shoot something. I think I actually shot something with Eli. Let me see if it's here.
Shout out to his son Eli,
and
bro.
He
is getting trained, bro.
I might
as a visual storyteller. That's a lot.
Videos.
Like matter of fact, I think he shot this
anyway,
scene
and it seemed to be really cool. Like I really, I'll be honest, I kind of enjoyed it. There's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see this. Show it? It's kind of hard to see. So like, this was Eli.
What the heck am I looking at here?
I shot this with my 50. We were just messing around. It was like a lighting test. But it was during COVID, clearly.
Wow. So everything behind is not even real.
Beautiful. Was that in your driveway again?
No, that was at the down at the stage, down at the LED stage.
Hey, maximize his screen so we can all see, bro.
There.
Wow.
That's crazy. So y'all were outside, but it makes it look like he's
in seconds.
Anyway, it goes on and on. But yes, it was quite fun.
That's freaking dope.
And cool to play around with. And I thought there was massive potential for to do something certainly cool with it. So yes, so the first answer,
right? It looks like you already
LED walls are cool, and can we use them? Yes. What was the other question?
What's your favorite Batsuit of all time?
Oh, so your favorite Batsuit is
you're gonna say Frank Miller's.
Well, version. Yeah. My favorite Batsuit is Dark Knight Returns.
I knew
it. Basically Miller's Batsuit. And probably
which you use on Batfleck.
Right,
I do, except for
the that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like what they did with the Mandalorian,
if I were to
bro.
Make that movie, I would make that suit exactly,
bro.
And also
the implications behind that are just.
And there's a guy. There was
so much.
There's a cosplayer who cosplays that suit really well. I saw the other day on my feed. I forget his name,
suit?
But he's an older gentleman, and he does an incredible. He's kind of a big guy. He does a great.
Oh yeah,
really got the suit nailed. It looks really good, and I'm like,
really dope.
Clearly, the suit can work.
Right. Just want to point out that we just hit $7,000 for the Justice Con AFSP fund.
That's freaking dope.
Keep donating, our friends.
Also, you guys, if you want to go, the Austin
possibly, bro.
Photos
possibly
are doing really well too. I think
links in the bio of the video.
And everybody that's watching this right now, go down to the description bar below.
There's 2 of 2.
The suicide prevention
those ones
link
and the
is
one I
actually
have
in
on my wall
so
right here. That's it.
If you want to donate, please go ahead and do it, or go to their video and go and donate.
I was looking at them, but I'm too poor.
Yeah, they are expensive.
They are getting,
but they're worth it.
So call your favorite billionaire and or millionaire and say,
but we're already talking to him.
Guest house. Yeah, well, I wish. Guest house feels like guest house. I mean, I don't know. Your boat seems to need some art.
Some fine art in it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think
it was something else he revealed earlier.
Going back to
I caught on late,
being
you guys. I
casted
apologize.
in your films, I was wondering, Granny Goodness, did you have anyone in mind, or what was the?
That's a good freaking
is there
question.
anyone-
I've been wondering about that.
It's a cool. It would be a cool thing to cast Granny Goodness now because it would be like one of the rare times. It'd be kind of like being cast off a drawing, right? Like you see drawing something, because like a lot of people have floated some really great
casting choices.
People that look a lot like our person, I believe. And didn't I say who that? It was based on one of the Weta artists' aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
No, you didn't actually give any details who it was based on. It.
The Weta artist who was making it, I kind of said that's what I'd love her to look like. This, what JoJo drew, and he goes, "Okay, that looks like my aunt." And I think he just kind of.
I absolutely love that so much.
Yeah, that's kind of
personally. My fan cast would either be Darkseid or Ray Porter's best friend, Kim Rhodes, but she's a little on the young side.
Right.
Or Judi Dench, also known as Mrs. Weasley, because those are like my two top.
Judi Dench is
be a lot.
That's so good. That's
I don't know.
Like we already know she can be a bad bitch, so
yeah, true.
It's pretty good. So yeah. That's good stuff. Any of that is good. So yes.
Make sure you write that down, please.
Yes, all that. Yeah.
So we got to fight for the Snyderverse, so we get to cast her.
Yes.
Seeing Judy, we got to get to it.
Yes, exactly.
No, Zach, what are you saying right now?
Judi Dench or we riot. Oh my god.
What is that?
They said Judi Dench or we riot.
Hey yo, Kathy Bates would be freaking dope.
I messed
but
up.
I think she might be a little
I
too
messed
old.
up. I have to throw in my
old,
Harry Potter
honestly.
fan card.
But she would be
Judy
perfect.
wasn't Harry. It wasn't
Like,
Mrs.
honestly,
Weasley. It
if
was Julie
like
Waters.
maybe like 10 years previous, she'd be
I
perfect
can't
for that.
believe I just did that in front of
That's
3,000
okay.
people. I'm gonna
What's your favorite Spider-Man
allow me
suit?
to die.
Mine is Amazing
Anyway.
Spider-Man 2.
You're good.
Yo,
Both
Amazing
are
Spider-Man
both
2
are actually.
is
I've
effectively
seen both
the best.
of their names for fan casting.
Outside
for
of that,
I see Helen Mirren a lot.
Helen Mirren, of course.
Are we talking live action
me and
or
Helen Mirren.
cartoon? You gotta let me know.
that would be
I can
a
answer
pretty
that better.
awesome duo.
Yeah, Bobby Williams for sure.
I worked with her once, Helen Mirren. She was in Guardians of Gaul. She was the voice of Naira. And
That's right. I forgot about that.
unfortunately.
We got to hang out with her in the booth for a while, and she was
Getting a little too
as
hot.
advertised,
There you go.
amazing.
Might take your shirt off.
and just
See, so connections there already. So
crushing it.
So speaking of you and actors, Harry mentioned something in his interview with Scott McClellan, and it was really interesting. He said that he was going to retire from acting right when you called him for Man of Steel.
Wow.
And that's similar to what Gal Gadot says about how she was going to retire when you called her for Wonder Woman.
That's crazy.
So how does that feel, knowing that you basically like pulled them back from the brink and made these people icons? Like, how does it feel?
I didn't know that. Well, because at the
Live
time I
action.
didn't know that they were. I just see
definitely
that they're
Amazing
awesome,
Spider-Man
and
2.
I'm like, please be in my
Like,
movie.
I do not like the MCU's suit. It's
What you do after that is up to you. But if you would just grace me,
the
with your
Avengers
genius, that would be
Infinity
awesome.
War
So-
Endgame suit.
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
nice
I mean,
looking,
like the truth
but it's
is,
too fake.
there's very little chance.
Yeah,
the world will
all
let those
day.
people alone.
The
and
CG
so,
for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'm just fortunate that
amazing, bro.
that I got them to do this stuff.
Yeah, Harry mentioned that he had tried out for a role in Dawn of the Dead and did not get the part. So, and then he met you again a few years later and got the role for Man of Steel. So that's pretty incredible how you're kind of like you do what all employers say they'll do, that will hang on to your resume and call you if anything comes up. You literally do that. And
I do it. I'll bring up. I'm always saying.
Yeah, it is really crazy, bro.
This guy that we worked with on that.
I can
thing that
believe
long
Gal
time ago.
because aside
Is he still an
from
actor?
is that person
the
even
Fast
on
and
the
Furious
radar? Are they
franchise.
alive?
Yeah, and I'll be like, weren't they good though?
So, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I do like my
how
people. I tend to.
She's
You've
just
got your
all over
tribe.
the place, bro.
I like to go to the tribe first, but There's always,
course.
Yeah.
you know, there's always
the only one that I liked was the
it's like
spider
Crudo,
monkey one,
you know.
the practical one, the actual practical.
Anytime you can put Billy in a movie, you need to do it.
There's been a few people that have wondered, what did Steppenwolf do to
Thank you, gosh,
make it so Darkseid kind
us.
of, you know, like
Mad?
present. Yeah.
I feel like there was a coup, some kind of small coup attempt, and I don't know how involved Steppenwolf was. I don't think he was like deeply involved or like the kingpin, but certainly there might have been a negotiation that he was involved with, and so
Wait, what?
clearly wasn't. He slaughtered those, right? So that's kind of, he did respond correctly eventually, but there was a small hesitation.
I mean, that face was just too sweet.
I don't
You
think
can't do no wrong. Free my blood.
Darkseid was like down with the notion that there would be even hesitation.
Yeah,
So,
dude, I mean, he's just a
We
good
actually
dude, bro.
just had
He's low-key
another
just a good
guest
dude,
join
man.
us, and
Wait, what?
and
Yes.
we are lucky enough to be joined by Chris Terrio. Another guest join us, and
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, Chris.
Hold on,
Is
I
that
need to
Chris
turn off my
Terrio?
live broadcast.
What the
There we go.
Yo,
How are you?
they brought
Here's
Chris
this
Streaming live to
Terrio.
the internet.
So, hey,
thank you so much
thanks
for dropping in.
for having me, you guys.
Bro, that's freaking dope, bro.
Yeah, you
Debbie's
hey, Zach.
pestering me. She's like, "Did you announce the IMAX screenings yet?" And I was like, that's all we talked about for the first.
If anything, it's nice you can cut it at any moment and announce the IMAX.
I know. I'm like, yeah.
Um,
It's like I'm not live, talking about it. So
That's crazy, dude.
I'm just gonna say yes, I did.
Yo, the fact that they got Chris Terrio in here is actually
But,
pretty great.
Chris, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
What are they about to
talk
talk about with this man? Because he's
It's
the
been a while
writer.
since I've seen Zach live, so it's good to see you, you guys. Yeah, Zach and I generally talk on the phone or text, so to see the real man in person is a rare treat.
Chris sent me a picture of himself in the gym with his Justice League T-shirt on. It was pretty.
Oh, that's sick.
Aw.
So right now the viewers are
represent
going
Kevin.
nuts.
Yeah.
Everyone's so excited to see you here.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to be here. You know,
Wait, I thought this was pre-recorded, bro.
I never really even got the chance to thank all the fans out there who made the Snyder Cut happen. I mean, I was, as you know, I was a bit quiet throughout the controversy, and then you know, and then of course I didn't want to screw things up by weighing in my grumpy way, which I have done recently. But now that I just, you know, I want to thank everybody out there who made it happen.
Aw.
You did a miraculous thing, everybody. Because I never believed that something like the Snyder Cut could happen. I mean, Zach always believed it because, you know, Zach has a, you know,
a beacon of hope.
I allow myself to get gaslit sometimes and think, oh, maybe nobody wants to see the version with more developed characters, or, you know, maybe the world, you know, has grown too cynical for, you know, a bit of earnestness and mythology.
Man, he had his own Superman complex, bro.
You know, Zach proved me wrong, and all the fans proved me wrong. So
Wow.
Thank you to everybody. And
That's
thanks for having
beautiful,
me.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Well,
I can say with confidence on behalf of the fans, because they're all screaming it in the chat, especially. Thank you so much for your dedication to Zach's project and for speaking up today. Everybody is incredibly grateful to have heard what happened from your point of view, and we are 110% behind you as much as we are behind Zach.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Like what they said.
also to jump in a bit off topic is we just crossed $8,000 in donation to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So
this is
guys in the chat,
live.
keep going. This is amazing. Let's see if we can hit 10K before the day is over.
I might
That would be
donate
awesome.
myself right now, you guys.
Also, all
Hey,
we needed
me,
to get people to throw money at
me do
AFSP was to
this
get Chris in
really
here.
quick.
Zach, why didn't you tell us that was the
Usually
secret?
people take money away
You guys,
when I
if you
join.
can, go to their page. Come on.
One question
There it
that
goes.
the
And go and see
fandom
if you
really
can
wants to
donate.
know is, with your interview, you
Um,
said that the
I'm gonna
title
see
for
if I can
Batman vs
donate
Superman:
now.
Dawn of Justice wasn't what you would have picked. So, was there any titles that kind of spring to your mind that you had?
Wow.
You had to know this was coming.
I should probably, yeah.
Well, let me just fill that in a bit, because I remember when there was a back and forth that I had with the studio, and Chris is 100% right. Batman v Superman was a huge. Dawn of Justice was like the only title that and the Dawn of Justice part was a very much like, there was a lot of things, the whole V instead of verses, it was like this crazy negotiation. And I was like, guys, can't we just do something like Son of Sun and Night of Night, or like, something that's a little bit more poetic? Right. And they were like, well, I just finished my
donation, you guys. Go and donate.
I'm going to be honest. I thought I was losing my mind when the marketing went from verses to V. Because like, I was like, did you see that? Did anyone else see that? Did I only see that?
Is that the Mandela?
This is actually really beautiful, man.
Are we in
Come on.
But also, I'll tell you, the only plus of it is that it's really, BVS is really easy.
Yeah.
Donations are like
that's the only
right now.
I agree, but like it's the only positive is like when someone goes, yeah, but BVS needs public, and you're like, okay, I'm with you now. I know what you're talking
about. Well, I just to jump in on that question. I mean, I would have loved something really simple like Batman and Superman, like just or something as happening in the vein of Man of Steel. It feels more like it's a progression from Man of Steel. For a while, we talked about actually, right, Zach, if I remember correctly, titling it Justice League : and then something after that to suggest that this movie was going to be the beginning of the Justice League, even though it didn't really look like it.
Sure.
And like Justice League Foundations, or Justice League Rising, or I mean, I'm just extemporaneously trying to think of titles that we battered back and forth, but
yeah, because at that time the concept of us actually doing a Justice League movie was still, they were still like sketchy with us about it, even though once we said this is how we want to do it, and kind of knew that there would be a cliffhanger at the end, and that this movie would lead to a Justice League movie. Wow. It's kind of, I think that they felt like making this Justice League was aggressive in this window, even though we thought being aggressive was probably the right way to go.
So out of curiosity, if you can answer this, what was the draft script called then?
It was just called, well, I think at the time it was just called, it was known by its code name.
Okay. So
Harwood. Right?
Well, I think Justice League was Harwood, and then it was Milo and Sage, wasn't it?
Sage and Milo.
Sage and Milo.
Sage and Milo.
And so yeah, we would just call it that.
Which was cool because it just said S&M on the cover.
So like Zach, are you directing the next 50 Shades? Damn.
Yeah, a little bit. By the way, and our logo was kind of like this weird. Remember, we had that weird bunny-eared mask. It was a very like, it was kind of like
serial killer lotion in the basket vibe.
That's funny.
Anyway, it was very kind of like Studio 54 mask. It was weird. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Yeah. So yeah, it was. Look, I think that the title itself, we Chris and I were kind of just happy with BVS that we were kind of putting. I've said famously that people always ask me about BVS.
Bat City stuff.
I always go like,
that
listen.
That hashtag did really good yesterday. That did really good.
We kind of stole that movie from the studio in some ways. Wait,
what?
It wasn't 100% the movie they wanted to make. It does all the things that it's. If you look at sort of this arc of like construction and deconstruction and construction and deconstruction and construction, that was kind of this rhythm that we were on. And certainly BVS is a take it apart movie, and Justice League is a kind of put it back together movie. And I think that, so for me, and in retrospect, I do agree with Chris. I wish we'd fought them harder, but I felt so like I was sneaking one by them with BVS that I feel like when they were said, okay, but we just wanted to call it Batman v Superman. And I go, the movie that we're talking about making. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. In that case, that's fine. As long as it's not another movie.
Right.
We don't like the title and the movie. That's more problematic.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, as Senator Finch says, call it whatever you like. Flies for me. Yeah.
You're like, do whatever you do, call it what you like, just don't look too closely at what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up again what you just said, that BVS was a lot like a deconstruction, and then your Justice League was like putting everything back together. That's definitely the vibe that you guys managed to get across very, very clearly, that it was a sort of resurrection in more ways than just Superman. Was that the original plan? Like when you guys sat down and you wrote BVS and you found out that you were going to eventually possibly do a Justice League, was that the original plan, to make the next one more of a resurrection, a coming together and repairing things?
I can remember Zack saying explicitly that the three movies were birth, death, resurrection. That's not only sort of an explicit Christian metaphor or something, but of all mythology, right? You have birth and then the story, Osiris even, right? You have birth and then death, and then the resurrection is just, it's so mythic, and it's in our, if you look at any Renaissance painting or think about any, Greek myths, it seems like it's or world myths, it's sort of deep in there. And that was an idea that Zack, I remember our first conversation on the phone, Zack said that. So yeah, that was definitely an explicit design. And when you look at, any well-known trilogies, The Two Towers ends pretty bleakly, Empire Strikes Back, of course, ends pretty bleakly. And I'm not even sure that it was an explicit choice in those cases. But right, the natural rhythm, as Zack says, it's a sine curve, right, where you're going from not only from light to darkness to light, but from construction to deconstruction to construction. So yeah, in as much as sorry, Zack, I jumped in and answered for you, but
it was for both of you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, a lot of people seem surprised at the tone shift, after having BVS for so many years now, and then fighting for ZSJL. A lot of people were very surprised at the tone shift. So have you guys seen any feedback like that? Like, how does that feel, seeing people expecting one thing but getting the other?
Well, I think that's also part of the job as well. For us,
I thought that was a positive.
Subverting expectation has always been kind of the hallmark of even just what Chris and I talk about. Because I feel like, and in all of our discussions, we have always been kind of out in front of the movie. They always say, don't get too far over your skis, but we were always way over our skis all the time. And I think that makes for good drama and for good development of these characters, because we are testing all our own notions about it constantly. We're questioning ourselves about what we think the obvious thing to do with the character or the expected thing. And we're always trying to, if we think we've created some piece of unbreakable canon,
the last time I can
the first thing we have to try and do is break it, because that testing the sort of the core of the characters is really what it's all about. You can't, the whole notion of someone saying, a lot of people, I've had a lot of people say to me that if they say, oh, canon says a character can't do this thing, and that what we always do is say we should try that immediately. The first thing they need to do is that thing, because it goes to the heart of, we want to deconstruct it because we want to understand it, and the only way to understand it is to flex it so hard that it might break. And that, I think that's kind of the way that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I felt like we went at it almost the whole time.
And
you guys definitely do push it. You push it, but in a good way, a really good way.
just regarding the tone, like, you know, a lot of the character interactions just naturally lent themselves to a slightly lighter touch because, of course, Bruce and Alfred, you know, are kind of like an old married couple by this point in their relationship, right? So we had a little bit more fun with that because we didn't have the sort of as Alfred says in the extended or the ultimate edition, like this white whale madness that we were dealing with on Bruce's side. So we could lighten them up a little. I think right from the beginning, we sort of
getting ready
imagine Flash as a little bit, you know, imagine Barry as a little bit lighter than
Ben.
Some of the other characters. He's younger. He's, you know, there's something a bit ADD about him, like there's about me. And Zach, I'm sure,
so in some ways,
it's, you know, in a sense, our what?
747.
You want to ride bikes?
If you get a chance, definitely go and donate.
You know, our personalities, they think naturally lend themselves to a bit of Barry's energy. And then, you know, all the same with Diana and Arthur. You know, they are serious mythological characters, but there's also there's a lighter side to them. You know, Diana is
safe. Take care of yourself.
I mean, even back from BBS, I think we had fun with Bruce and Diana in the sort of, you know, film noir interaction with Bruce, at the museum, you know, and that idea of a sort of slightly loaded relationship between Bruce and Diana was something that we thought was fun, always, because they've both seen a thing or two, right? They've both been around, and they have a sort of ironic shorthand between them.
And the nice thing is that the subversion there that's amazingly fun is that Bruce thinks in his confidence that he's been around as much as anybody, and then Diana actually has been around way more than he has.
Nah, hold my beer real quick.
Yeah, actually more than physically possible. Kind of cool.
Which we tried to establish right from the beginning with that joke about their security system. You know, where Bruce says, "I paid a fortune for it," and she says, "It took me almost a minute to dismantle it." Right? Like she one-ups him, but you know, as Diana is, Bruce thinks he's seen it all, but Diana sure has seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about Bruce, he's not an idiot in the sense that he understands where he is. I believe that Bruce knows where he is in relationship to Diana. It's not she's literally a goddess. It's not. There's no bravado.
Put around an audience that actually goes and sees
in their relationship because he knows in the end.
Nico, I'm gonna say this:
snap him like a twig.
For good or bad,
it's not. There's no
whatever way you feel about Zach.
He's not going to posture with her.
Zach has a lot of power.
He's really like, tell me what to do.
I mean, it's deeper than just him being a visionary director.
He seems to like treat her as his equal more than almost anyone else. Like he feels like she understands him almost. The burden of fighting for justice.
The reality is that Zach actually has so much power that scares them because they don't want it to be slated or swayed his way. And I do think that they need to get him under contract in some kind of capacity because Netflix or somebody else is going to do it, or God forbid Disney is going to, but they're too afraid. They're too afraid, I think.
It's just she just doesn't really think that way. You know, she's not as much of like, you know, she's not trying to.
She's not about literally just take over. She respects him as much as he respects her.
Yeah, and you see her trying to do she's constantly trying to calculate the scenarios and like how to act. But you know, because she's a warrior too. You know, like she knows she makes a plan. Like even when we get to it was Steppenwolf, like she's the one going like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, even though, you know,
and she's the one he respects the most. Even the villain sort of knows that Diana is the alpha here. You know, she's the one that he wants to fight.
Most definitely, he's antagonizing her.
You know, sort of the pack
he was talking so much trash to her because he was like, "Yeah, I'm scared of her."
Speaking of Batman, Chris, what were your thoughts on the Batman script by Ben Affleck?
Affleck. Man.
Well, I'm biased because Ben's my friend, so of course, I liked what he was doing. You know, I'm disappointed that we won't get to see that version of Batman. He's as you know, Ben would always, you know, he and Zach developed Batman together, and he would always say that he wanted to play him as somebody who's seen, as we were saying about him and Diana, who's seen a bit and been around and has worn the cape and the cowl for a long time, and so it was a slightly different Batman than the than the Bale Batman, which I really love, and some others. So yeah, it would have really been something to see that, and I think he did great work on it. Who knows? I guess anything could happen, but
that's what we all love about Ben's Batman, really, is that what you guys, like the three of you, like the influences you all had on the character, you guys made him into a veteran of the war on crime instead of having him starting from scratch like he does so very often. It wasn't an origin story, it was a established story, and like here he is after 20 years at war against these people. And that's what a lot of us in the Zack Snyder Justice League fandom really, really love about Ben Affleck's Batman. And you, the three of you, really molded him into almost the perfect Batman / Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because you can't argue with his Bruce Wayne. To me, I don't know how you do Bruce Wayne better than Ben. Ben is like, he's Bruce Wayne in a lot of ways. You can imagine a world where we didn't have Batman and we were talking about writing a comic about this, crusty veteran of, and I'd be like, he's kind of like a Ben Affleck type, what I mean? Like that would be a way of explaining to someone what.
Yeah, I'm watching the Justice Con. I'm just watching it live.
I just think that's
going on.
The idea also
go and just type in Justice Con. It's going on right now.
Ben's
They're actually
Batman,
doing donations
and where he
for
comes to
suicide
us
prevention.
in pop culture.
Definitely go and check it out.
It's very meta in a lot of ways.
But I'm just not sure to bring awareness of what's going on.
Because of Chris's movies and what Chris did, and Chris really sort of fleshed out a world and educated everyone about Batman. Everyone kind of, if you didn't know about Batman, you saw those three movies. By the end of it, you're like, okay,
you had the idea of his origin.
I understand, family killed, trained with ninjas, came back.
No parents,
Got it. Lives
rich.
Mark Master.
Rich, yes.
Same.
And so I just think the cool thing about, and the fun that we had was that we were like, okay, so the audience, even the non-comic book audience, is ahead of us now. They know the mythology. It's like, we're making a Santa Claus movie, and everyone knows, like, okay, North Pole, we know. We don't have to, we don't have to do any of that,
That's an amazing way to put that.
I think, but that was the fun for us, because then we could just go like all these cool implied pains that he had suffered over those 20 years.
You guys got to, you got to skip the first 10 steps.
Yeah.
Or at least then, even in the myth of Bruce's fall, into the earth, we got to put a twist on it, which is in the dream, right? The beautiful lie of the dream, which is that he can fly out, because the audience already knows that, that is the origin of Batman, that he falls and all that kind of thing. And you don't really get to twist the myth unless the myth is well known, right? So at the beginning of BVS, Zack's able to kind of tweak it and show almost like this fantastical, imagined ending to that story, because the audience already knows the story, right? If the audience didn't know, you couldn't. But also, I seem to remember, Zack, I think we and Ben had a conversation about Michael Mann's movie Heat, right? About the cop who's been around, Pacino and De Niro, they've been around a minute, like they've seen it all, and that there was a bit of that tone even in Batman.
Well, I remember
kind of James Bond tone, right? Of that we wanted to introduce a little more into the into his sort of civilian scenes.
I can really see that.
We talk a little bit about having Heat inspire that the first meeting also of Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
that's dope.
So there's a question we keep getting that is about the open pod. On the Kryptonian ship. Can you speak on that a little bit?
I think the open pod was left over from Man of Steel, and we continued to show it. I don't know that I have some ideas about who the open pod could be, but I don't know. Chris and I hadn't really reached that point in the story, but you know.
Who do you think it could be?
Really?
I had that.
Can a guy have some?
No, at this point, bro, you gotta spill all the tea, bro. You gotta spill all the tea, though.
Yeah, it was one of those questions that if we didn't sneak it in there,
it was never gonna be.
I see that we crossed 9,000 in donations, so thank you very much, everybody who donated.
We have 1K to go, so you have the rest of this panel and then the J11 panel next to get us to 10K.
I like putting the pressure on Jay. Come on, Jay. Take this on.
That's crazy.
It's funny because we didn't give Jay an end time, so
Jay, you gotta stay up
because it's hard. It's kind of hard. He's so passionate about the work, especially he does with you, that it's kind of hard to put an end time on Mr. Oliva because he has a lot to talk about.
Yo, I love Jay.
And speaking of that, we hear from Zach all the time about how much he loves The Dark Knight Returns.
I don't
Chris,
care what it is.
What are some inspirations for you? Is it the same for you? Is there other comics or plot lines you pull from?
Wow. Well, we of course, as a clear from BVS, all the Frank Miller stuff we talked about a lot. The Morrison stuff, of course, is philosophically inspiring and so complicated, and he sort of, is always trying to break the bounds of what intellectually, a comic book or a graphic novel can achieve. The Alex Ross stuff we looked at a lot, just as reference, as character, as I know, visual references, and I could go on and on. We also, even outside the bounds of comics and graphic novels, there were so many just books of mythology and stuff that we talked about and thought about. As you know, from Zach's visual style, it is so mythological. It is not only in the Joseph Campbell sense, but in the sort of, you look at, and I'll embarrass Zach by flattering him, but you look at any frame from one of Zach's films, right? And it could be something that you see in a museum, and not only the sort of energy imagery that is from, like, as I was saying, like a Renaissance painting, but also mythic, like sort of you look at and it's quite literal in JL, right? You look at the frescoes on the wall about Uxus's first invasion, and there's a kind of Byzantine, primitive beauty about them. So I think the other thing that really informs the films is just art and Zach's knowledge of art and myth. Zach's unafraid to talk about myth, which is so nice with a collaborator. Like there's no sense of, you're being too obscurantist or too academic or too, or there's Chris being a weirdo again. Zach is like right there with you. Like, I'm a weirdo too.
You guys seem to be like a match made in heaven. Like the fact that Ben brought you on to the movie, and the two of you just seem to vibe so well together. Like you're saying, like everything you're saying, Chris, sounds exactly like stuff that Zach has said to us 1,000 times already about where people's influences from.
I promise we didn't rehearse, and Zach is often given credit, obviously, for his astonishing visuals, but Zach also has such a great sense of story, and the rhythms of a story and what's going to work and what's going to be emotional.
Honestly,
I was
the reason why Zack Snyder's
Justice League worked so well. I had my doubts early on about whether the Flash turning back time scene was going to work. I thought, can you introduce that new concept so late in the film?
Like based on his perspective.
Although if you notice in Flash's scene with his dad, embarrassing with his dad, there are constant references to time. Like
may not be
that whole scene is full of time references, but that's
a
little foreshadow. But then I saw the finished cut, and it's just transcendent. I thought when Flash turns back time. It's pure cinema, right? Because on the page, I didn't even know how you could write that.
I still need to make my video about that.
That's how you know that you're experiencing real cinema, because I couldn't have described what that is. I couldn't imagine.
Emergency awesome style. That's all I'm gonna say.
So there it is.
I'm gonna.
There is a question that we are being begged to ask really quick. Is how do the two of you feel about Restore the SnyderVerse?
Oh Lord.
You mean as a concept or as
yeah, like would you like if that's because that's become the next rallying cry for the movement.
Listen,
and
I mean, I'll let Chris talk about it. I'll just say this. I think it is a concept that I believe shows sort of reverence for the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, whatever it results in, I have no idea, and most likely nothing, just based on,
if the fans once again are heard, and that's in the wild universe where they are heard.
See, I want to hear what Chris got to say, though.
I guess my point is that, like, the reverence for the work is a thing that I never would dismiss and or in any way say I don't respect, and that I would not, of course, give my entire effort to support.
Wow.
Because I think that we make the movies made and it's finished and it's there, and all the characters and all the storylines and everything, we understand it. It's not like and so if someone says to me, no matter who that person is, like, I really love that thing, I wish you would make another one. I personally am not a person who says, like, well, that, forget it. Like, I think that's rude because of
never say never, I guess.
Yeah, because what's happened in the last 3 years for this movie to exist is impossible. So
yeah,
that's all I think.
I want to hear what Chris got to say. Chris, speak up quick.
No, what Zach said.
So if in a perfect world you guys were approached to restore the SnyderVerse, you would be like, yes, we're here.
Certainly, whoever that person
under
is,
the right conditions, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know who those people are that are coming to say that to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you guys, clearly. Because
in the Earth 2 version,
you guys are made the heads of Warner Brothers. That would be
Valentine for sure.
Like I have a solid idea about at least 3,500 people who are now asking, but
no, that's cool.
Perfect.
That's crazy.
Well, it looks like we are. Let me refresh our donation total. We are at $9,660
wow.
even
I'm
for AFSP.
We left Jay with no work at all.
Right?
We're gonna raise it. We should just let him do
really
it.
Mad at Jay if he can't. He's gonna have to just like pull out his wallet and like make
put in his card information.
Be like, look, we got to 10.
Make up the difference.
They'll hit it by.
Well, I think that
probably.
Speaking of Jay, because his channel will be starting soon, so we will have to wrap it up. But we are very thankful to you guys that you came to hang out with us.
Well, I'm very thankful to Chris. It's great to have Chris here. It's good to see him. I miss him, and it's cool. And you guys are amazing. And thanks for hosting this event, because it's unbelievable. And the money raised is already. You guys are. It's just too much. So thank you so much.
We just hit 10K.
What?
So there you go.
How?
We're at 10,000.
The magic of Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder.
So
yes, thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Really.
That's crazy.
I'm so honored to get to be talking about this.
They really?
Again.
Dang,
so or ever.
That's crazy. They did it before the video. I knew they would.
Thank you for
love
giving
you guys.
us
See you later.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right, you guys are great. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
You will.
Yes, you will.
Right.
Army today.
All right. Thanks again, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Much soon.
That's crazy.
The next panel is Jay Oliva, hosted by Tim Yoko. So make sure you head on over there. And thank you guys so much. I mean, we're at $10,510 right now, so that's just it's absolutely incredible.
Like they hit
thank you so much. And
that video
we will see you at Jay Oliva's panel. And
they hit $5,000 in one video,
keep donating
crazy.
And have fun. Jay's panel is open-ended, so
yeah, Jeffrey Lane,
settle
that was
in for
really
a
dope.
good long discussion.
That was really dope. And you guys, you can go down
before we log off completely. Make sure to check the link below for the auction for the photos. And also, I am sending one more link about the Justice is Great IMAX tickets charity screening that you can win. So head over to that link also. You can make a donation there too.
I'm looking to see if I can get that link to
See
you guys.
My next
I don't
one.
see it. So
bye.
Well, that was it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy my commentary. Sorry if you guys couldn't really hear me or you couldn't hear what you really wanted to hear. My thoughts is some really good conversation in that. And I got in the latter part. Like I got in right when they started talking about, the Green Lantern situation and him actually casting, who he thought would be a really good John Stewart and actually shooting scenes with this man and then him not being able to freaking show them. And this is the thing, because they asked the question, they were like, well, when and if, how, when is this going to be able to be released? When we're going to be able to actually see the footage? And Zach's like, I have no idea. So my hope and my prayer is that by the time Justice League gets a 4K release in the States, that there'll be deleted scenes that we haven't even seen that were just unfinished VFX, or which probably most likely is later on when you get closer to the fall when he's going to be doing the distribution to the tickets and stuff like that for the IMAX screening for the movie and stuff and some of the other giveaways, that they'll come out with a trilogy set that'll have Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League all in one set. And in that set will be like all the deleted scenes that we'd never seen before from all the movies. So I think that would be the smartest thing. And not just that, from a symmetry standpoint, if he's already remastered Batman vs. Superman IMAX, he's remastering Man of Steel for IMAX, and this is already Zack Snyder's Justice League is already ready for IMAX, then you would have to have an IMAX set. So I think that's the way that most likely we'll get it. But I mean, it's just kind of like with Ray Porter, bro. Like, shout out to him, man. For years, we had no idea he played Darkseid. We had no idea like he did such an amazing job with it. And he finally is just now getting his just rewards. And so what I'm assuming and I'm praying is that the actor that was casted by Zach for John Stewart, regardless if they're doing the Green Lantern series, regardless if they're coming up with a Green Lantern, core movie or whatnot, that at least he can get some kind of recognition for his contributions to whatever Zach was initially trying to do. Because in all honesty, like Ezra Miller's Flash exists while Grant Gustin's Flash exists, and long proceeding afterwards. I mean, there's going to be in the Flash movie Bale, probably not Bale, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and it will be crazy if Robert Pattinson was in it. So we just don't know where things are going to lie. But if that can exist, why not, bro? I still have no idea why they turned him down for that. But either way, at least we got the confirmation. I think that was a really big drop, as well as the IMAX release confers Zack Snyder's Justice League. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys supporters of Restore the SnyderVerse? And in what capacity? Do you want it just to be restored in the context of getting Justice League 2 and 3 out on HBO Max or wherever it's going to be released? Would you like to see more inclusion of whatever came from Zack Snyder's Justice League within the other films? Do you think there is a capacity for that to even happen? Or do you think that this is not something that Warner Brothers feels that they should go down that road for whatever unforeseen reasons? Let me know in the comments below. If you don't mind, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that little bell button, because the algorithm is really crazy right now. You guys, some of you guys that have been subscribed for years are getting purged. So if you definitely don't mind hitting the post notification button. That'd be greatly appreciated. And please, if you have time, definitely go and donate to suicide prevention. I left that in the description box below, but you can also go to their videos in Justice Con, which is actually going on right now, to go to their donations. And I want to say, I think that they just started the next video. Let me check really quick, because I want to confirm that for you guys before I kind of just sign off. I don't have time to go and go over Jay Oliva's, even though I love Jay Oliva. And I'm really praying he has some news about something animated that's about to drop. Yeah, so in about 18 minutes is when Jay Oliva's is going to be showing up. So yeah, you guys go and check that out. And Jeffrey Lane, shout out to you. Thank you for joining the stream. And I'm going to go and eat because I'm very hungry. Take care, you guys. Have a blessed one. Stay safe. Peace, everybody.